You won't believe what happened in our peaceful little town. A place so quiet the biggest excitement we ever had was when Mrs. Shabana's cat sneezed during Friday prayer and half the mosque thought it was a demon. But I swear what happened with Mr. Ghafoor's goats will go down as the most legendary, most ridiculous, and most side-splitting incident in the entire history of our existence, and it all started with one man's dream to make goat muscular. Yes, I said muscular goats because for some bizarre reason, Mr. Ghafoor, a retired PE teacher with far too much free time and a deep obsession with protein shakes, decided to open what he proudly called Pakistan's first goat gym in his backyard, complete with a miniature treadmill, plastic dumbbells labeled barbells, a haystack punching bag, and yes, an obstacle course that looked like it was designed by a goat version of American Ninja Warrior. And every morning, just after Fajr prayer, he'd blow this tiny silver whistle and shout, "All right, troops, no pain, no hay," and march his 10 goats into what looked more like a playground for bored livestock than anything remotely useful. And among those goats was a rebel, a true legend, a goat with a glint in his eye that said, "You can't control me." And his name, brace yourself, was Biryani. Yes, Biryani the goat, named because apparently the first time Mr. Ghafoor brought him home, his wife threatened to cook him if he didn't behave, and that name stuck. But Biryani was no ordinary goat. Oh no, he was cunning, he was fierce, and above all, he was done with leg day. And on one particular sunny Tuesday, while the other goats were doing jumping jacks, or what Ghafoor claimed were jumping jacks, though it mostly looked like confused headbutting, Biryani stood near the fence, staring into the horizon like a goat version of Mel Gibson in Braveheart, calculating, plotting, and as Ghafoor turned his back to demonstrate proper goat plank form, Biryani made his move. He sprinted toward the gym gate with the force of 10 angry rams and smashed it open. Not just open, but completely off its hinges like some Hollywood action hero. And that was it. The great goat escape had begun, and I tell you, chaos spread through town faster than a WhatsApp rumor. Goats sprinted down the main road, jumped over rickshaws, knocked over vegetable stalls. One even entered the barber shop and chewed a guy's mustache while he was getting a trim. And all the while, Biryani led the charge like a battle general, his tail high, his horns gleaming in the sun. And it only got worse when 2 goats climbed onto the mayor's car and started a full-blown wrestling match, with locals gathering around cheering like it was WWE. And I swear, one goat even managed to sneak into the bakery and eat 3 trays of naan before they realized he wasn't a customer in disguise. And then get this, one particularly athletic goat, possibly inspired by Ghafoor's cardio with commitment training, climbed all the way onto the roof of the mosque and refused to come down, standing there like a goat version of Simba on Pride Rock. And by noon the entire town was upside down. Kids were chasing goats, goats were chasing kids, old ladies were yelling things like "Yaki Metki Nishani Hai" and "Main Any Kaha the Abni Pagal Hai." And through all of this, Ghafoor was running around in his neon green tracksuit, holding his whistle, trying to control the madness like a football coach having a breakdown, shouting things like "No skipping warm-ups" and "Where's my yoga goat? Has anyone seen Yogeshwar?" Yes, he named one goat Yogeshwar, and at some point the police were called. But honestly, what can 2 sleepy constables with teacups do against a herd of gym-trained goats? One officer tried to catch Biryani by throwing his shawl over him, but Biryani did a backflip and headbutted the poor man into a fruit cart. And I swear on my chai that it took 6 hours, an emergency goat catching team from the nearby village, and an entire sack of carrots dipped in peanut butter to finally round up all 10 goats. And even then, Biryani kept evading them like a 4-legged ninja, darting through alleys, leaping over fences, until finally, they caught him when he paused to admire his own reflection in a puddle. True story. And after that day, the town council held an emergency meeting, and with all 17 votes unanimously, they passed the now famous no-go gym law, banning any kind of livestock athletic training within town limits. And Ghafoor, bless his tireless spirit, was heartbroken for maybe 3 hours before he came up with his next idea. Goat yoga Sundays, where locals now pay 500 rupees to get climbed on by goats during Downward Dog. And who's the star of the show? That's right, Biryani himself, now rebranded as Master Biryani, the Enlightened, wearing a tiny scarf and doing goat meditation poses on a mat while children giggle and tourists take selfies. And Ghafoor, he calls himself a wellness pioneer now, gives motivational talks to other farmers, and sells merch that says "No bleat, no sweat," and I still can't walk past his house without hearing goats bleating along to motivational music. And sometimes, when the wind is just right, you can still hear Ghaffur yelling, "Focus your inner hoof." As Biryani leads a class of goats and humans into a perfect synchronized tree pose, and to this day, whenever we have a town meeting or a wedding or even a cricket match, someone always whispers, "Remember the great goat escape," and we all burst into laughter, because that, my friend, was the day when one goat, one dream, and one very broken gate gave our sleepy town the wildest adventure it never asked for but will never, ever forget.